For these questions, we're going to write the equivalent decimal amount. And remember, equivalent just means equal. So let's look at some examples. We've done these a lot. However, there's some different denominators now that we're not used to. So let's look at the examples and figure out how we will do this. On number 1, we have 8/25. Well, you have to remember that for decimal values, you can only have a denominator of 10 or 100. And that's because a decimal can only be a tenth or a hundredth. So if you write decimals as fractions, you can only have things that have a denominator of 10 or a denominator of 100. And that's okay. This doesn't have a denominator of 10 or 100, but we've learned how to make equivalent fractions. So all we have to do is make an equivalent fraction to have a denominator of 10 or 100. So since 25 is greater than 10, I'm going to go ahead and make it have a denominator of 100. And that's just because to get from 25 to 100, I can multiply. If I was going to get from 25 to 10, I would have to divide. And it's always harder to do this when you're dividing than when you're multiplying. So I know to get from 25 to 100, I just had to multiply by 4. And what I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So 8 times 4 is 32. So the decimal equivalence for 8/25 is 0.32. 32 hundredths. On number 2, I have 4/10. Now this is one we already know how to do. So all we have to do is write a 4 in the tenths place, 4/10. On number 3, we have 3/4. Well, we've already learned the decimal values for fourths, but I can show you that it'll still work even if we did it by making an equivalent fraction. So I'm going to go to 100 because in my mind I tried to go to 10 first and I can't get from 4 to 10. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, and I don't ever have a factor to get to 10. So I'm going to have to go to 100, and I know that 4 times 25 is 100. If I do it to the top, I need to do 3 times 25, and that would make 75 100ths. And that's how I have the decimal, 0.75, 75 hundredths. So let's look at number 4. On number 4, I have a fraction of 4/20ths. To me, it's always easier to go up to 100 than to try to divide and go down to 10. So I'm going to go up to 100, and I know to get from 20 to 100, I have to multiply by 5. And what I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So 4 times 5 is 20. So the decimal equivalence for 4/20ths is 20 hundredths. For number 5, I have a denominator of 25. So again, I'm going to try to make an equivalent fraction that has a denominator of 100. So I'm going to do 25 times 4. And what I do to the bottom, got to do to the top. So 10 times 4 is 40. So 10/25 decimal equivalence is 40 hundredths. And we'll do one more. This time we have 44/50. So if I have 44/50, I'm going to make an equivalent fraction that has a denominator of 100. So to get from 50 to 100, I have to multiply by 2. And what I do on the bottom, got to do on the top. So the decimal equivalence is 88 hundredths. All right, you try some on your own, and if you need help, you can come back and rewatch the video. Good luck.